We got a major tournament coming up this weekend, Stockholm Regional Championships, which I actually won last season, but I won't be going back there this season. I will be co-streaming it though. Gonna wake up bright and early, 3 a.m. my time. I think the stream starts at 2:45 West Coast. I did the thing. I looked up earlier, Pokemon.com/broadcast.
Yeah, bro.
um,
2:45.
yeah, so I think I could probably safely wake up at 3, shower real fast, and then they'll probably be starting round. They start at round. Dude, why is that different? In Europe, they start on round 3. Wait, they start at round 4 here in America, right? North America region.
Usually, but we started round 3 in oh, I can tell you why. It's because they don't have 9 rounds day 1.
Oh, in Europe, they always start on round 3. Oh, but that might be
Because
why.
they have
Because
8
they
rounds day
never
1.
because they never have 9 rounds.
Yep. So it's the same amount of rounds being streamed.
Oh, okay, that does make sense. No, but I feel like even
And
last.
that's why we started streaming with round 3 in Vancouver.
No, but even like before last season, before this change, they still started a round earlier in
Maybe.
Europe.
I
They
don't
did,
know.
yeah. I do.
Allegedly,
I remember.
allegedly.
No, I remember. I remember. I was there. I saw it. Um, yeah, excited to do some more watch party and restreaming the Stockholm Regional Championships. Won't be there to defend my title, but maybe next season if they have it, we'll see. So I'll be doing that Saturday and Sunday this week. And yeah, just kind of excited to watch some more Pokemon. It is this format, but even then, I'm still excited for it. We'll have a week off before with Brisbane, but then we'll be getting some new stuff with Yagi after that. But yeah, so there's some things to talk about, I guess, as far as the tournament goes. Where do you want to start, Chip?
Yeah, I mean, I think the place to start with the tournament and with this format has got to be with Dragapult, right? It's definitely the most popular deck. Definitely the best deck. I mean,
Yep.
it just did really well in tournaments last weekend, winning Vancouver, winning Fortaleza, dominating both of those events as well as far as meta share placement. Um, yeah, it's just Dragapult. So, I mean, is there really anything that can slow down the potential of Dragapult's success?
Yeah. I feel like probably not overall. I feel like if it existed, we would have found it.
I think
'Cause,
I think there are things that can beat Dragapult solidly. Like I think Archaludon Dialga has a very good Dragapult matchup.
I don't think it's that. I think it's closer than.
I think it's a pretty solidly favored matchup for Archaludon, but Archaludon has a ton of other problems, right?
Yeah, I still think it's not even that close to be honest. Or I think it's closer than that, like maybe 60-40 in Archaldon's favor, which isn't that big of a boost, big of an increase in the number. Yeah, like you said, it's got Archaldon has many other problems that keeps it from being like a top deck in the format overall, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I feel like people are trying. People got like 3 Monkey Dory in their Gardevoir decks. People got the Golden Go's got the Monkey Dory. I feel like Golden Go kind of came out of EUIC kind of like if to me, it felt a little bit like leaving EUIC was like, oh, Golden Go is kind of like the Dragapult killer, or it's like it's a good deck that actually has a good Dragapult matchup. But I don't think it's that good. I mean, I think we saw how you can kind of I think Hedrick displayed how you can kind of dismantle the deck with Dragapult Dusknoir specifically. I think Dragapult no Dusknoir would have a little bit tougher of a time.
Well, Lucas should have won, right?
um, should he have?
I thought so at the end of game 2. Uh
I thought he made a mistake.
wasn't I thought hang on, let me see if we can pull it up. We could actually just like review and talk about it if we wanted to.
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
Um
I didn't think it was like that cut and dry, but I feel like he probably should have put Pheasant Dippity in play on the last turn instead of putting down like double Gimme Ghoul. Unless he had to put down double Gimme Ghoul to even be able to have a Golden Goal on the next turn. I don't remember exactly. He maybe had to put down 2 Gimme Ghouls,
so
or he's just gonna get board wiped.
let's see.
We saw Hedrick do that against 2 Golden Goes in Top Cut. It was basically just board wipe the Golden Goes for
I
like
couldn't
6 prize
find it at
turns or something
first.
ridiculous. Well, yeah, I'm not as confident in that deck's matchup against Dragon Ball Dusknoir. I feel like the non-Dusknoir build is a little bit different, but I guess speaking to that, the card that I feel like is pretty strong against Golden Go as Dragapult to include if you're not playing Dusknoir is the Defiance Vest, which you've been
Okay.
seeing Vinny and Gabriel play.
So I think it was this turn right here. So what Lucas did here is he night stretchered for this metal energy to attack with the Golden
More damage.
Go. But what he could have done and should have done was he should have just gotten back darkness energy and just healed this Golden Go, so it's impossible for Hedrick to take 4 prizes.
Oh, was that a play that was well, there's 9 on the bench. How is there 9 on the bench? Am I No, there shouldn't be 9 on the no, how is there 30 on the active?
Hang on. There's 30 on the bench, and then it
Who
goes 200 plus 60 to the bench. Okay, then Lucas does his turn here.
would he
He
have gotten
does
to the
get
bench Golden
Fez.
Go?
No, 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 he didn't have to attack here. He didn't have to attack here. He's got 3 prizes, and there's
Oh, yeah, I
Badoo in
remember.
play. So if he literally he could KO Badoo here, he doesn't have to though. He can just put the 30 with the Monkey Dory, put it somewhere else.
Mhm. Oh, I see
Hedrick
what you're
can't
s
do anything, and then next turn he can go take 2 prizes plus KO Badoo with
wait, why? Oh, because there's no Duskull in play.
there's no Duskull in
Mm,
play. Yeah.
yeah, okay, I guess that you so you just move 30 off the active
Yeah.
to the
And then it's
Dragapult.
impossible for Hedrick to take 4 prizes.
Okay, yeah, I didn't actually see this game play out. I only saw game 3, I think, actually. Now looking back on this, I think I only saw game 3.
This is what I remember seeing in the moment as,
Yeah.
like, the missed opportunity, I felt like.
Yeah, just chill. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. That definitely is. I don't know where it would go from here for sure,
'Cause
but
we know he just got the darkness energy from the superior, and then he plays the stretcher and gets the monkey here, that's what it is. He, like, plays the stretcher and gets the monkey, and so
mm,
it's like, I almost wonder if he forgot he had attached or something, I don't think that's the case, but
what happens after this? He gets Iono'd and then both golden goals just die.
no, yeah, Hedrick just wins, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He just KOs it, and Hedrick has to find boss plus, what's it called?
Yeah.
Boss plus Dragapult and has everything.
That definitely would have made things a lot
Oh, yeah,
more
all boss
interesting.
energy right there.
Yeah, if Lucas had done the other play, it would definitely have made things a lot more interesting. I feel like the response from Hedrick would have been
Iono.
Iona plus punch for 70. Like, don't knock it out so you don't give the Pheasantipity draw over or something, maybe.
Yeah.
But I guess then you leave the golden go in the well, that's like -1. Yeah, I guess maybe that'd be the play in response. I'm actually not sure.
Well
Yeah, it's
well,
interesting. Yeah, I didn't see this game.
yeah.
I think it was also a pretty big mistake from the other Golden Go player Hedrick played against in top 8 or asymmetrical or whatever. They, like, could have Turo'd plus Monkey Doried and not taken a prize card, but instead they chose to go all in for a prize card, and then Hedrick just won on the next turn. So it was actually kind of a similar situation. They could have gone, like, for a chill play where they go Turo plus Monkey Dory and just, like, hang out and then don't take a knockout, and then next turn they go aggressive, but instead they went all in with a bunch of damage on their Golden Goes.
So all this to say, I'm really not super sure. Like, I gotta imagine it's like
I think it's favored for Golden Go, but I don't think it's as favored
you could
as I
is
thought it
favored for
was.
Golden Go?
Yeah, yeah, but it's like 60-40 probably.
I think it's gotta
Uh,
be close for sure,
and it's
but
possible the Dustnor build is 50-50, and it's only the
yeah.
other build that's fair. But I don't know, like the Defiance Fest is a big deal for the other build, the non-Dustnor Dragapult. That's +1 energy that they need,
That
which
is
is kind of
true.
a lot. So if you go like Iono plus punch with Defiance Vest on the active and don't kill anything to give Pheasantipity draw, that could be tough to KO back. So um yeah. I mean I think as everything just kind of plays out more and more, there's no real answer for Dragapult. In fact, maybe the best deck up against Dragapult might be something like Stall, or some kind of control build, but those decks have other flaws. So I think the answer is Dragapult's the BDIF, probably the best play going into Stockholm. And I wouldn't be surprised if it wins the whole tournament for sure. I think that would be pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I'm gonna be personally interested to see, like, what some of the better European players choose to play to this event with Dragapult's kind of, like, stranglehold on
Dominance.
the format kind of
Yeah.
in place. Like, what's Stefan gonna play? What's Tord gonna play? Like, I'm gonna be really interested to kinda look at that and see, what kind of adaptations they make to the event post EUIC and post, Vancouver.
Although some pretty good players keep telling me that they think Gardevoir is favored against Dragapult, but we have just not seen that in the results. I feel like at all.
Yeah,
So
no.
I don't think I believe them. I think they're capping.
They probably
Yeah.
they beat all the bad Dragapult
Dude,
players.
so many people base. I feel like maybe this is like a next stage in the evolution of people. So many people just base their meta percentages based off what they play on. Which like there is some truth to like utilizing that as a benchmark for how good you think a matchup is or how well you think you'll do against it at a tournament is like, oh, I destroy this deck on ladder. So like against the average player, I'm going to beat them 70% of the time. When in reality, when you play up against a good player, they beat you 70% of the time.
Yeah.
So like I don't like using that as too I think you can only do that. It depends like how high of a caliber of player you expect on average to play a deck. You can sometimes factor that into kind of like your meta prediction. Like I think no top players are going to play something like a good deck. The deck to probably call out with that would be like Lugia, right?
Or
Very few
like
like
in
top
the last
players play
format, like
Lugia.
Raging Bolts.
Yeah, that'd be a good one as well. Very few well above average players play Raging Bolt, right? There's a lot of well above average players who play Gardevoir consistently, format to format, right? So you'd want to be more prepared, have a better understanding of the Gardevoir matchup, and truly know if it's played well on both sides what the outcome is on average compared to something like a Raging Ball. You don't care as much about, but yeah, I think a lot of players just use their PTCG Live ladder win rates as, oh yeah, this matchup's like at 80-20, like all my other matchups. But yeah, like I think that kind of bites some people in like the long run of a tournament. It's like, oh, you play up against a really good player playing the deck you think you're
Yeah.
80-20 against. In reality, they're 80-20 against you. And knowing that information beforehand might have led to a different deck choice, different tech choice as well. But that's really thinking in terms of like when your goal is truly just to win the tournament. That's when that kind of matters most,
Because
I
you're gonna
would
have
say
to
as
go
well.
through good players to win the tournament.
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna have to go against really good
You
players.
can get to day 2 consistently. You can get
Yeah.
to top 64s and top 32s consistently with, that mindset of like, yeah, my Gardevoir deck beats Dragapult, but like when you sit down across from Andrew Hedrick playing Dragapult,
Yeah,
is
it's gonna be a little bit.
your win rate's not as high, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the win rate that matters, right? Because you're trying to win the tournament.
Yeah. So that's always like a question that gets involved in that as well. It's like, what is your actual goal? But yeah, Dragapult's pretty good. And I guess we kind of already talked about this one as well with Golden Go. I think it definitely has proven itself though, right? It is, despite it not being the Dragapult killer that I kind of thought it was post EUIC. I did so little playing of the format after EUIC. It was one of the decks I wanted to like pick up and try out was the Golden Go deck. But I think it is favored against or Dragapult, even if it's just a little bit. But I think besides that, it's a pretty good deck. Like it's not just a one trick deck that's just here to beat Dragapult. It can stand up against most things. And I think the innovations we saw from the build that Lucas brought is a really good indication of what people will probably be bringing moving forward, and just kind of shows that the deck has a lot of depth to go a step further than just being a deck that beats Dragapult as well. Um, I think there's like some other stuff to still be seen. Like Caesar, like if you click on the 14th place list, the 2-2 Caesar list, Caesar popped up, got top 16 at EUIC as well. And we see it here in Vancouver with a 2-2. Now I'm a notorious Caesar hater. I hate the card, but it shows there's a decent amount of depth to what you can bring in a
What does
Golden Go
Azul
deck.
hate more, Caesar or Dudunsparce? That's the real question.
Definitely Caesar, dude. It's not even close. Although it does get better, I feel like after rotation as an inclusion in Golden Go. In fact,
Mhm.
I even saw a list with Caesar EX because it's a way to deal with Ogrepon.
Okay, hold
Personally.
up. Let him cook, let him cook.
um, yeah, Golden Go's here for sure. It'll probably be still like a 10% meta deck, I think, at Stockholm. It'll be in that range.
Well, something that's not been a very high percentage meta deck and something that I think was a pretty big surprise last weekend was the Roaring Moon. And it was not the fact that it got just top 8 in Vancouver, but it also got top 8 in Fortaleza. So, do you think that there is some kind of momentum here behind this archetype? Like, will we see Roaring Moon? I mean, I don't think we're going to see it jump up super high in meta share, but are we going to see it be successful again this weekend too? Are we going to see someone make a top cut with it, top 8, top 16?
It's tough. I want to say no. Um, just because I think it has such a weak Gardevoir matchup. And even Lugia matchup can be tough as well. But it is weird that like it did, such a low percentage play deck, got top 8 at both the tournaments. So it kind of shows that there's maybe something there because I think it does kind of feed on like the Golden Go matchup is good, the Archaludon matchup is good. I think Lugia is like fine, but overall, like if Lugia sets up, you kind of just lose. I think it's kind of a whoever goes second is at the advantage matchup. But so that's like one of the things going in blind. You're gonna have the advantage against Lugia on average because they're gonna be choosing first, and you're gonna be choosing second probably most of the time. I think you definitely want to go second against Lugia to try and cheese them because if they get to go second, get down double Lugia, use read the win, stuff like that, you're in trouble. Um, yeah, I'm gonna say I don't think Roaring Moon is real. I don't think it's real. Um, fraud.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean, I
calling
think
fraud.
it's one of these things where it's like it's a powerful deck, and so it's like if someone who's just dedicated a lot of time to it picks it up, hits decent enough matchups, plays well, someone can find success with it. I mean, it's similar to like gouging fire, right? Gouging fire. There's no reason that that deck should be super strong in the format, but it's like powerful, right? And so someone just rolls up, plays it, plays well, right set of circumstances fall, they'll make top cut with it. If it's like someone who's committed the time to it and is like it's like that's one of the things where it's like your preparation and practice with a deck will pay off, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah.
as
Yeah,
long as
it's
it's
it's definitely
powerful
not.
enough. You can't just like you can't pick like mouse hold EX and be like, I'm
I have 1,000 hours. I have 10,000 hours with Mousehold EX. I'm
yeah.
unstoppable. Dude, sometimes it is funny though that you bring that up. For players, it definitely is players who are like newer to the game. It definitely sometimes when people ask me questions and the way they talk about the game, there's players out there who think that's like true or like believe like, yeah, if you just put in the prep, if you're a good enough player, like you can become so good with a deck that you kind of ascend past the deck ceiling and can play it at like another level. Like it's not so much the deck, but it's the player. I feel like that's like a mindset that like that's something like I wonder what I used to think back when I first started playing the game. Like I feel like a lot of people when they don't truly understand the game at the Pokemon TCG well enough, like a lot of people think it's the player that matters more, way more than anything else. A lot of people think it's the deck choice that matters way more than anything else. It's like, oh well, if I just had toward 60 that he played, I would have won this tournament too. But like I just didn't have it. But if I had it, I would have won this one. But it really is like a truly a mix of both to a pretty high degree. But
No matter how many hours you put in with mouse hold EX, he still will only do 120 damage.
yeah, and even if you have toward 60, you're probably not going to place as well as toward. Yeah, the mouse mouse does.
Maybe you will place as well as Tord if Tord was also playing mouse hold EX. That would be a funny thing to see. Like someone like yourself or Tord rolls up with like just a bad EX deck like that. How many round? Like if you built the best possible mousehold EX deck that you could build, how many rounds do you think you would win at a regional championships?
I think I could win like three.
Probably,
Yeah,
but it
once
would
you
be
go
the
down
last. I
like
think. I think it would be the last three.
I don't know, once you're like 02, 03, you're kind of in the trenches there with like newer players and people bringing like meme shenanigans and stuff like that. So I
I
think
don't think I would give you a win until round 7, round
what?
6, round 6.
Oh my gosh! I think I could get a win before round 6 with something like a mouse hold.
I've got a good
Um,
video idea.
I'd be down after I win my first regional of the season. Next season, we can get
Lock
Mimi
up
with
the
me.
invite.
Yeah,
We'll see.
then I'll win with mouse hold. That'll be the. Imagine that's the outcome of this this bet or back and forth. Is I just
Azul
win a
gets
regional
his
with
world's
mouse
invite
hold.
with Mousehold EX.
No, that card is so terrible. There's no way.
Well, the deck that won EUIC, we did see it still do decently last
Did
weekend, but
okay.
it's definitely a far cry from winning a major tournament, and that was the Terrapagos Badoo deck. Brandon Salzar got top 32 with it in Vancouver. Over in Fortaleza, Austin Charles got top cut with it. There was a couple other players who got top 32. Mateus and Abelero got top 32 with the deck. So it's like it did okay, but it was pretty hyped up, I think, heading into the weekend. So did any of that lead to it doing worse? Or is it just kind of one of those situations where like I don't know that it's like a deck people were necessarily prepping for that made it do or perform worse, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I said this, I don't know, 2 episodes ago or whatever. I don't think Cloth was actually that good of a play at UIC. I don't wanna say like Ryuki got lucky in matchups or anything like that, but like, the winner is the winner at the end of the day. You can only play who's in front of you. But like, yeah, I think Cloth was actually a pretty bad play at UIC. Not bad, but it was just like fine. It was like super fine. I think if you run that tournament back, I don't think Ryuki's winning. Um Once again, not trying to take anything away from Ryuki, obviously, but I'm not surprised to see it. And I think the meta did actually get better for it post EUIC a little bit, with like our Chaladon becoming less popular and stuff, but not by a lot. And so I'm really not surprised to see it still not have that successful of a run this last weekend. I don't think it'll be very successful going to Stockholm either. I just don't think the deck is that good right now. I think it's like a very fine deck. overall. You can cheese any deck with Badu doing a lot of damage, but yeah, overall, it's got too many tough matchups and stuff like Lugia, Gardevoir, Archaladon. Like the list goes on as far as tough matchups go. And even your Dragapult matchup, that one's a close one. So yeah, I think it's a top 32 kind of deck moving forward. I guess like one thing that I like just kind of thinking about, like Guardy did fine at Vancouver, but it was actually like pretty successful at Brazil. So it kind of makes me wonder where Guardy kind of stands and how it'll do at Stockholm, to be honest.
Oh,
Because I'm not.
here's
Go ahead.
I was well. Finish your Gardevoir
'Cause
point,
I'm
and I
not. I'm not that hype on guard for in this meta overall in this format, but it did do really well in Brazil. Like it was like 4 in top 8 or something like that. So I'm curious to see where Gardevoir kind of lands. And the big question mark for me is kind of the Dragapult matchup. Like, is it actually that good for Gardevoir? I don't feel like it is overall, but um, if it is, then it would make Gardevoir quite a stronger play going into the weekend, or I guess into this weekend. Yeah,
and I guess one more thing we could talk about would just be the deck that you played at Vancouver and
yeah.
how we feel about Miraidon right now, because you were feeling really, really good and confident with Miraidon heading into Vancouver.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm still feeling. I think Marion's like a really good play going into Stockholm because I don't think too much changes. I don't know if the meta gets like it probably gets better or worse for it to a degree, but I think Maradon is still a really really good play, and I think I would just run the exact same 60 I played at Stockholm. I don't even think I'd change a single thing. Maybe like if you wanted to find room to add something else, in, you'd cut the canceling cologne. But I don't know. There's a lot of clef keys out there right now. And the only card that could be like tech for would be like Golden Go players could play Jamming Tower, which completely neutralizes the Defiance ban because you don't have a way to bump Stadium. Like theoretically, you could add a Lost Vacuum, but I don't know how many Golden Go players are going to go that far and add the Jamming
No.
Tower. So
And I think that was something Rogerson played, right? Yeah, he played the Lost Vacuum, but he didn't have the Defiance, and he
yeah,
also had two stadiums.
yeah, he just has the vacuum to. I think the main reason is so you can get out of like the Mawile lock. You like switch cart and then you vacuum away your own Stadium and then you discard everything that can't attack.
Yeah,
Like one big reason to play the vacuum. I'm sure there's other stuff too. In mirror match, it's kind of cool to get rid of their bravery charm, stuff like that. So,
yeah.
but yeah, I think Maradon's in a pretty good spot. We'll see. Like
All right.
if I was going to Stockholm, I'd just play the exact same 60 from Vancouver, and I'd feel pretty confident going into it for sure.